Tennis is struggling to be the gentleman's sport that it once was, and this seems to be because the younger players aren't very good at handling defeat, or even victory in some cases. Just recently, Jordan Thompson got into a heated argument with his opponent at the US Open, shocking the spectators. So what made him so mad that the umpire had to intervene? Stay tuned to today's video as we spill the tea. Starting off with Thompson's tantrum on the court, the Australian's fiery side was on an unapologetic, full, mighty display at the US Open. When the match began, he started off on a rather promising note, and things appeared to be going his way, but soon he was jolted out of the tournament. The 28-year-old had made a brilliant comeback to win a thrilling 5-set match against his Italian opponent Lorenzo Sonego to move into the second round at US Open 2022. But after suffering a devastating 5-set loss to Colombia's Daniel Elahi Galan on Thursday morning, Jordan Thompson was knocked out of the US Open. Daniel was fairly successful at converting 55% of the break points that he won. On the other hand, Thompson was super focused on converting 50% of the break points that he won. But unfortunately, that just wasn't enough to win the match. While Thompson packs his bags to bid farewell to one of the biggest tennis events, Galan will compete against either Spain's Alejandro Davidovich Fokina or Hungary's Martin Fucsovics in the third round. Next up, Thompson made sure to throw one of his trademark tantrums before leaving. Early in the fourth set, just when things weren't looking too good for the Australian, the two got into a heated exchange at the net that quickly turned ugly. The Australian approached the net while his opponent prepared to serve, and the two got into an argument that was quickly getting out of control before the chair umpire stepped in to intervene. If you look at the clips, honestly, it just appears that they might have gotten into a physical altercation if it wasn't for the umpire. And no, that wasn't it. Following a change of ends, Thompson and Galan butted heads yet again. You know, since the actual game of tennis didn't pack enough action, they decided to go the MMA way. But what annoyed the Australian so much that he decided to confront his opponent directly? Well, according to the three-time doubles champion at the Australian Open, Todd Woodbridge, the controversy centered on Galan's prolonged delays between serves. He claimed that there was a little bit of aggro and a little bit of tension between the boys, adding, "I believe it has to do with how long Galan is taking." When he's on the court, Thompson is never one to back down. He's got immense power in his shots, and he looks totally in control of the game every time he steps on the court. But there's always tension and stress in the air when he's playing. A lot of bad, aggressive vibes. Moving on, this isn't the first time he's gotten into a confrontation. Earlier this year, during the third set of Thompson's match against 2008 Australian Open finalist Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, the 28-year-old acted out in a rather unusual way. He decided to take the ball and slam it into the sky after a point, forcing a ball girl who was only a few feet away to duck out of the path. Was it frustration, or just an attention ploy, or genuine issues that need to be resolved ASAP and shouldn't really be brought along to the court? Whatever it was, it sure gave him super bad press because he's often seen showing his drama queen side on the court. Thompson went on to win, but it once again brought attention to a tennis problem that's quickly turning into a negative talking point in the sport. Then others have done the same. Looks like tennis, which is otherwise regarded as a gentleman's sport, isn't all about gentlemen after all. Earlier this year, Nick Kyrgios threw his racket at a ball boy at the end of the match at Indian Wells to celebrate his loss to Rafael Nadal. The Spanish player defeated the Australian in 2 hours and 48 minutes, and Nick did not handle his defeat well. Honestly, what's with throwing rackets around at kids? There was another such incident when Brooksby was leading Federico Correa of Argentina 4-1 in the third set of their first-round encounter. Who knows what took over him, but he flung his racket on the ground, causing it to skid and forcing a ball boy to leap out of the way to avoid getting his ankles smacked. Brooksby casually took the racket back from the ball boy who'd put it out for the American to grab with little sign of regret for his attitude. He eventually succeeded, winning the game, but despite the win on the scoreboard, he undoubtedly didn't win any new fans for the obvious error. Next, there's been uglier incidents too. There've been way too many entries in the Hall of Insane Lunatics of the tennis world, and man, it's a total doozy. In the opening match of his doubles play with Marcelo Melo, the 24-year-old German Zverev lost his cool and began cursing the umpire. He also repeatedly slammed the chair with his racket at the end of the match. The odd behavior cost the third-ranked singles player massively. He won't be able to defend his title in Acapulco, according to an announcement from the ATP Tour that Zverev had withdrawn from the competition due to unsportsmanlike conduct. And then, in another such incident, the world number 63 lost her cool and lashed out during her second-round match against the 30th seed, Katerina Alexandrova. Irina Kamaliabegu was forced to watch in horror and regret as her racket bounced up into the audience after she'd thrown it down to the ground on the clay court, prompting a little spectator to cry out loudly, as the Romanian, who was booed, expressed her concerns, the match's umpire rushed down from the chair and contacted a supervisor to see if the child was okay. Looks like kids aren't safe on the tennis court. Then, what's happening to tennis? These incidents have raised serious concerns among tennis legends and journalists. Patrick McEnroe, a former tennis player, tweeted about the Brooksby incident. Seriously, what is it going to take? Drawing blood to appropriately punish a tennis player? This is completely ridiculous. Tennis journalist Ben Rothenberg wrote on his blog, "What is happening with this sport?" And the New York Times tennis journalist Christopher Clary penned, "This needs to stop. The more you ignore it or slap yourself on the wrist, the worse it'll get." In fact, it had gotten so ugly that the ATP Tour had issued a harsh rebuke and warning to the top male tennis players in the world concerning the recent string of on-court behavior. Thanks to several incidents over the past year, Andrea Gaudenzi, chairman of the organization that represents players and tournaments, had ordered a thorough examination of the entire code of conduct. He issued a warning to players, citing the aggressive and disrespectful conduct that's been observed recently, also adding that the rules will be strictly enforced and such behavior wasn't going to be entertained on the tennis court. But it looks like Jordan Thompson didn't quite get the memo, or didn't care about it much, because his unsportsmanlike behavior has shocked the fans and the players equally. Sure, losing a game can be quite frustrating, but this isn't the octagon. It's a court where confrontations just don't appear all that thrilling. Hopefully, all the players will sort out their issues. Here's some other related news that you might be interested in. First up, Serena shocks tennis world. Serena has proved yet again that we're not worthy. The American tennis legend defeated world number 2 Annette Kontaveit in a thrilling second-round match at Flushing Meadows on Thursday morning. The 40-year-old, who was playing in the final match of her super impressive career, advanced to the third round after dominating the 2021 U.S. Open champion. Fans and celebrities went berserk after the victory, and even Vice President Kamala Harris couldn't help but appreciate Serena Williams for inspiring people around the world with her talent, grace, and drive both on and off the court in a tweet. Next up, Nick Kyrgios gets annoyed with smoking crowd. Nick Kyrgios has yet again stirred the controversy with complaints to the chair umpire about marijuana. He believed he whiffed some of it coming from the U.S. Open crowd during his roller coaster second-round win. The incident took place when his opponent secured a break of serve in the fourth set. The 27-year-old was previously given a warning for unsportsmanlike attitude, swearing towards his player's box and spitting on the court in their direction. Never without drama, are we? And finally, Rafael Nadal is angry at hospital video leak. The world number 3 Rafael Nadal is reportedly unhappy that his pregnant wife's medical information was leaked after she was admitted to the hospital while he was in New York for the U.S. Open. The Nadal family is now thinking about sending her to another facility after a hospital video was also leaked. The good news is that his wife is completely fine, while the expecting dad is looking for a record 23 title in Flushing Meadows. And we wish him and Mrs. Nadal the best of luck. That's a wrap for this video. What did you think of Thompson's tantrum? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you in the next one.